I quit sugar for 30 days, and ever since I haven't been really addicted to sugar anymore. I did this challenge back in March and I did it again in September. Obviously September was much more easier. I remember the early symptoms when I started the no sugar challenge in March. I had a lot of headache and I felt really tired. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel where I create self-development and self-care videos. I'm also a life coach that specializes in habits and mindset. So before I started this no sugar challenge in March, I used to have Kit Kats on a daily basis. I had Kit Kats and other sugary sweets in our drawer. Me and my husband were having it on an everyday basis. He still has it. I, on the other hand, have reduced a lot. And obviously I was gaining weight. I was feeling lethargic. I was feeling tired. I had a lot of negative self-talk as well. I also faced a lot of inflamed gut issues. So I had a lot of gas and heartburn. So when I stopped consuming these desserts and these confectionaries, and after the headache for a few days, I started to feel better, and I also felt good about myself that I kept this commitment. Now you'll be asking, how did I do it? Because it's so hard for so many people. A lot of people want to give up. However, it is such a far-fetched thought that they just can't even imagine doing something like this. So here are a few steps. I don't know how many steps, but there are a few steps. I might label them down below for you. But here are some steps that I took to help quit sugar for 30 days. First of all, it doesn't need to be 30 days. You can start with 7 days. You can start with 3 days. You can start with 1 day. Build that belief in yourself that you can do it, and then take the action of doing it. So for me, first, I didn't cut out all of the sugar. I cut out sweets, I cut out desserts, I cut out anything that had refined sugar in it. So like biscuits, cakes, sugary drinks, anything that had refined sugar. I still had my fruits and my carbs. Carbs have sugar in it. I did not mean to get rid of such an important part of the food. I've also added honey to some of my oats for breakfast, which I think is not a bad idea. But yeah, everything else was off the table. This didn't make me crave sugar too much, because if I wanted to have something sweet, I would have fruit. If I wanted to have some sort of like homemade dessert, I would add honey, no white sugar. And if I wanted to have Coke, I would have Coke Zero. So that really made it easier for me to go through this 30 days of challenge. Secondly, I created a SMART goal, which is specific, measurable, attainable, relatable, and time bound. So by specific, I meant what is it that I am actually creating a goal for, which is specifically what I'm doing. So like I said, so I got rid of the refined sugar in a lot of these man-made products and instead had sugar from the fruits and honey, like how nature has made it for us. So that was how specific I was. Then measurable, how long and when. I also created a tracker. So I crossed off the days whenever I had no sugar, and looking at those crossed off days made me feel more confident, which made me feel more motivated, and it just kept the ball rolling for me. So that's how I measured it. So specific and measurable, and then attainable. I made it attainable by not cutting out everything, like I said, so it was attainable for me. Relatable, by relatable I mean, is it related to what I want to do? Yes, it is definitely relatable. It's a relatable goal. And time bound, so like 30 days. So after that step, the second step of creating SMART goal, the third step was to create rewards. Don't underestimate the power of rewarding yourself, because that's what actually improves your motivation. You actually feel like you deserve these rewards because of all the hard work that you've done. So your rewards don't need to be expensive. They could be small things each week. So the way I did it, I created small rewards for each week and then a big reward at the end of the 30-day challenge. So obviously this increased my motivation, and I was also looking forward to getting this challenge done. So by the end of week 1, I rewarded myself with a new book, and I felt like I deserved this book because, you know, I'd done all the hard work. And then week 2, I bought myself a pair of socks. Again, nothing huge, but something that made me feel good. Week 3 was maybe dinner outside, and week 4 was like buying myself like a nice dress. I also ended up losing 4 pounds during this challenge, which obviously made buying the dress much more of a satisfying reward. So step 4 was that I'd done a visualization exercise every time before I went to sleep and every time when I woke up. I would visualize myself not having the sugar. I would visualize myself saying no to having sugar. So there's a huge difference between not having the sugar and feeling good versus the hard parts of not having the sugar challenge, which is saying no to it. So I would visualize myself looking at Kit Kat, which is my most favorite chocolate, by the way. I would visualize saying no to it. I would visualize saying no to like Ras Malai, which everyone would have, and I would just feel a little bit left out, but I would feel good about it. And I would visualize myself saying no to like Coke, Coke and 7-Up and Fanta, except Coke Zero, which I still had. This visualization set me up for the day, especially when I done it in the morning. And it also forced me to focus on this challenge and not feel scattered and do something else. So after that March period, I slowly did go back to having sugar, but this time it was very different. There were no Kit Kats in my drawers, so I never went back to that habit. In fact, there were no anything chocolatey in my drawers to make me feel like having it. One thing I would say about creating habits is that habits never go away, so never think that this habit is going to be permanent. They're always there in the back of your head subconsciously. So having this idea that, oh, once I've done this habit, I'm never going to go back to it, is false. If you do the same habits again, which is like me having the sugar in my drawer, I will reach out one day when I'm in my weakest point and I'll have it, and then it's no going back again. After that, I didn't have sugar. Then I done another challenge in September to have this 30-day no sugar challenge, and it made it much more easier. Now the reason for doing it back again in September was just to see if I could do it again, because it just made me feel more confident. So when I said that I went back to having sugar after March, I had sugar when I went outside for desserts or a few nibbles here and there, but it has never been on a daily basis anymore, which it was before March. I do really believe in hard stops, especially if you're really addicted to something. I wouldn't say I was really addicted to it, but it was a habit that wasn't helping, and it caused a lot of physical symptoms like heartburn and inflamed guts. This challenge also gives me the commitment and the resilience for doing other challenges in the future, which is quite exciting because it tells me that I am just getting started. So I hope you found this video helpful and you found these tips helpful. I do offer one-on-one life coaching to women, and if you are interested to work with me privately, click the Calendly link below where you can book a free consultation. I'll see you guys next time.